you started doing a repeated character essentially of a woman who has got quite sort of right-wing opinions.
Yeah.
In a very sarcastic manner. And a lot of people just think you're a real person.
Yeah, they get so angry.
Yeah?
It's terrible. Yeah. So yeah, she's just basically an extreme Tory.
Yeah.
And rants at the camera.
But she's also a bit thick. She's a bit stupid at times, isn't she?
Yeah. Well,
like,
she just contradicts herself the whole time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. But there's people who are genuinely left-wing who are like, this woman's a fucking horrible idiot. And then there's people on the right as well who are like, good for her putting these videos out.
I actually know, I haven't had it. It's only the left who get angry with me. The right get angry with me because they realise it's the joke. The only time I've had people on the... I did a thing about a woman who'd gone to a supermarket without a mask and that everyone went mad. They were so angry. And I thought it was obviously a joke because I was like, I've gone into Sainsbury's and I had to, someone ran up and they put a bell around my neck to warn people in the frozen food aisle I was coming, and they were starting to shout, burn the witch, burn the witch. So I thought it was like, obviously a parody, but everyone got very upset and were like, this woman is a disgrace. And then I had some really sweet messages from some anti-maskers who were like, we have your back. You're so brave.
And you have to message back, I don't want you to have my back. Fuck off from my back.
I've thought for a while, like, what would you do? What would you do if, like, for example, Piers Morgan quote tweeted a video from this podcast saying, like, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen?
Yeah.
Like you know, when you get support from the people.
Yeah, if we become Priti Patel's favourite podcast, which would be a surprise, bit of a surprise, the unwanted retweet, is that what you'd call it?
Yeah, the unwanted backing. They're putting their like Nigel Farage going, they've got some good points on this podcast.
Yeah, he's got a lot of followers, but do you want any of them?
Are they going to sign up to Patreon?
Yeah. But then you're playing with that line all the time, aren't you? Like,
yeah. But it's mainly people on the left who give me grief, or people who get that I'm joking but think my jokes are evil.
Evil jokes.
Well, they're just like, you shouldn't joke about this. And you go, they're like, you're not a refugee. You can't joke about refugees.
Oh my God, I feel so. It's literally. Where have you been? We should have had you on earlier. That feeling that you've got, I definitely feel like that's a very have a word vibe.
It is that like it's quite funny. We've spoke about politics maybe just into double figures, I'd say, at times.
What do you mean?
Spoke about it today.
What?
The Israel-Palestine.
No, what I mean is like we're quite very openly left-wing and sort of, you know, on that side of politics. But the only people you ever piss off are left-wing people.
Yeah, it's true. And also, can I say
and the racists we pissed off on YouTube, on
Facebook.
yeah.
What video was that?
That was great fun though.
Yeah.
That was good fun.
How did you piss off the racists?
What video
It was the
again?
M-word in the queue.
Yeah, just highlighting that someone came up to Adam after a tour show and started whinging about not being able to use the N-word. So Adam told the story, we all took the mickey, put the clip out, and guess which social media platform really got annoyed? It was Facebook. Shot fucking horror. Oh, it was Gammon Central for a few days.
After a tour show, so in my last tour show, I did some material about race, which was misconstrued by a member of the audience who come up to me afterwards and was like, great that white people are doing jokes about racism now. And, you know, why can't I shout the N-word at a footballer, but a black guy can sing it in a rap song?
Oh, no.
So, you know what I
No.
mean. Now, there was a big queue, so I just, like, sort of explained to him why we were on complete opposite sides of the table and whatever. And we sort of had a laugh about this guy at his expense on this, and then we put it on Facebook as a clip, and people were like, no! That guy had some really good points.
One of our most watched clips ever.
Yeah.
All of our listeners found out about it and were then arguing with the racists in the comments, and it was really good for the algorithm, Rosie. It really, really
so do you find that if a video is just funny and everyone goes, that's a good joke, it gets less of a... Do you almost want to like sort of shake the hornet's nest a bit?
Sometimes, but sometimes it's really painful. I did this one a few weeks ago that made some people so angry, and it was Love Island contestant ends up at a Priti Patel refugee camp by mistake, and people were not happy.
Tell me you don't want to watch that video right now.
How did that go?
Well, the problem, like, people got that it was a joke. But I mean, lots of people were like, "Yeah, this is great," and then there was this backlash from some people who were just like, "You're a racist." And I was like, and then I sort of wrote back going, "Oh no, actually, I'm taking the piss out of the Home Office, and this is," and they were like, "Fuck you!" It was just got really evil, and then a load of, a few comics just were like unfollowed me and sort of shared my Ko-fi link and were like, instead of giving Rosie Ko-fi, why not give to these charities instead?
Comics did that.
Yeah.
Fucking
Oh,
rats.
comics.
Awful.
We got in a little bit of trouble at one point, and there was a lot of comics who were very defensive of us. Some were like, they're fucking around, this is jokes,
Yeah.
whatever. And there's a select group of comics at the minute who, if a comedian makes a joke that they don't like, and that is awful.
They're like woke carnivores, aren't
Yeah.
they? Like, you're coming after your own, and like, I don't
And also,
know.
like, I knew some of them. I was like, oh, come on, guys. Just one of them messaged me privately, and I thought, oh, well, at least she's reached out. And then I saw she'd been like slagging me off online and unfollowed me. So I thought, oh, okay, she's not really reaching out. But it was, yeah.
So
it's
she
just a bit
slagged you off
depressing.
and did a little reach.
Yeah, she did a reach where she was like, hi, Rosie.
I think she's going to do really well in comedy.
She was like, maybe you don't realise that your video is quite insensitive and you might want to take it down. And I thought, oh, well, she's reached out. And
My
then I
favourite
was
one
like,
was
oh, no,
a-
she's
Oh,
also
right.
been saying I'm a
So-
bigot.
She sounds great.
There's a video from
Sounded like you were getting upset then. There was just a little bit of coffee, but it's like...
I had a bit of a back and forth a couple of weeks ago via DM in the end, which I'd always preferred than a public one. So Dan was off with COVID, and we did a Patreon episode of just me sat here and talking to Carl. And there's a video from Greek Stars in Their Eyes where a woman was an able-bodied, able-visioned white woman,
Yeah.
blacked up and pretended to be blind as Stevie Wonder,
Stop it.
right?
No, properly.
It's one
Not
of the-
40 years ago. 2012.
12. It's phenomenal, right? It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
And the bit where
Was it
she
good?
gets the...
Was she good?
But they get a production assistant.
to walk her out. And like the stairs she's already walked up, they're like chaperoning her down. Because they're like, oh, the stairs there. She's surely like, I know, I walked up them.
She's got her eyes open. She's just got glasses on.
No, but once you've blacked up, you might as well go the full hog and piss off every blind person as well. Sit me down.
But we put the clip out, and the amount, like, it got hundreds and hundreds of shares straight away, including from black comics and like people we don't even follow, who followed the black comics who'd found it from them and then reshared it. And there was just this middle class white guy in me DMs going, I don't think you really understand how upsetting this would be to the black community. And we were like, no, we understand that blacking up is very, very, very wrong. That's why it's funny that this was allowed to happen this century. And he was like, no, you don't understand. There's not one black person in the world who found that funny. And we were like, go and look at all the quote tweets. It's every black comic in the country has gone, this isn't a hilarious
And
video.
famously, what all black people want is one white
Well,
middle class
it's patronising,
comedian
isn't
to
it? If some
talk
guy
for
going,
them.
no, look, you don't realise you're speaking down to these people.
I mean, honestly, I don't even know if they know how to work Twitter, but let me speak on behalf of the black community. Do they have Twitter? Do they have phones? Good God, shut up. It's the weird attacking your own. Like,
Yeah,
I get
I don't
it.
like that.
You can call out hate speech, but comics, like, I get it. You know that you're playing with the line, and we've said it before on here, but comics are meant to understand that as an industry, as a type of person, you're fucking trying to find that line. And there's also got to be a little bit of understanding when you slightly get that line wrong. If you just trip over it, like, to be a comic who's like,
But we're
who
not
are you
even
trying to
talking about
please?
getting the line wrong. We're talking about Rosie making an obvious joke, playing a character, which is supposed to be a parody of the worst people in the world. Like, we've mentioned this before. I don't know why comedy gets held to any sort of higher standard than any other form of art and entertainment. Like, if Rosie makes a parody of a Tory, then there's people going, well, that's actually really a problem. But American History X, a film about racism and like the murder, like, that's okay. That's not a true story.
Art. Yeah.
That's not a true story. Someone wrote that story and it's a film and it's hard hitting and it's awful and it displays and characterizes like the worst human traits in the world, that's okay because it's drama.
If that white middle class comic went on Twitter and went, the thing is with 12 Years a Slave, speaking as a white middle class man, that community, this is really offensive.